Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Project Recap Podcast, formerly known as Project Cap, the podcast where we recap everything sports, music, entertainment, and more. I am your host, the infamous TYB, aka Thank You Brother, and I just want to thank you for stopping by. Welcome. It is the Project Recap Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. We are finally here. It is finally time, live here at CampIslandStudios.com. Also, social media, thank you, C's, Project Recap, the Recap Project, all of those. Check us out. We are here. Finally here. I'm excited. I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to get these going, to get the ball rolling. Finally got everything squared away. Website's up and running. Got my distribution for the podcast all squared away. Everything is looking dandy. More content coming to the website again, CampIslandStudios.com. Everything with the podcast will be there, as well as all of my other content, music, videos, photography, graphic design. Everything I do will all be on CampIslandStudios.com. Sort of like my brainchild is all coming to fruition, and I'm excited. Really excited to continue to build on this, and really see where I can end up with this. Months down the line, years down the line. Like I said, I can't express how excited I am to be back doing this, to be able to come back to a platform, be able to express my opinion on things like sports, primarily sports, and anything else, like music, entertainment, politics, whatever else we've got time for. But just to get through some preliminary stuff, the podcast will be like around like 15 minutes or less. I want to keep them kind of quick and easy, something easy to digest. I'm not a big fan of, me personally, like listening to longer podcasts beyond like 15 minutes. I like to be able to get through the content very quickly. But that's what this is going to be. We'll of course be talking about quite a few sports topics today, including D'Angelo Russell and his trade rumors, Houston Rockets, what they just pulled off a few nights ago. I've got I want to offer a perspective on that. Also just saw the Joker from last year just a few days ago. I've watched it like 3 times now in the past few days. I want to offer a little bit of my opinion on that as well, and whatever else I've got time for. But yeah, let's get into it. So, quick little recap around the league. Gonna run through a few games last night, some scores, some breakout performances, some that I've recapped on the Project Recap IG. No pun intended, I guess, if you will. Detroit beat Phoenix last night, 116-108, led by Andre Drummond, who had a 31 and 19 double-double. I don't know how many double-doubles this man has at this point, but I'm sure he's got a lot of them things. My Boston Celtics had a great game in Boston last night, beating Orlando, led by Jason Tatum and Gordon Hayward. Jason Tatum had a 33-point game. Hayward came out in the third quarter firing on all cylinders. Had 11 of his 23 points in the third quarter, finished with 23. Jaylen Brown also had a great game as well. Brooklyn also defeated Golden State 129-88. Toronto defeated Indiana by 1 point. They've also clinched their 12th straight win, which is a franchise record for them. It's kind of crazy to see how good they're still playing even without Kawhi Leonard, now that he's in LA. A lot of people thought they were going to tank and rebuild and do all these things, trade off Kyle Lowry and Marc Gasol and Serge and all this other stuff, and lose Masai Ujiri to New York. I don't think any of this stuff is ever going to happen in Toronto. I think Siakam is a great player to build around. You got a great veteran leader like Kyle Lowry. I think that team is built for for many years, and they're just going to keep adding to that team. And I don't see them losing the fire that they've created since last year. So. Atlanta beat Minnesota last night, which is the 13th straight loss for Minnesota. I saw Vince Carter hit the game winner, or the go-ahead bucket against them, which kind of, if you're a Minnesota fan, must sting a little bit. That's just tough. OKC defeated Cleveland last night, 109-103, led by Dennis Schroeder and SGA. Schroeder had 30 points. SGA had 23 and 10. Dallas lost to Memphis, who just acquired Justice Winslow, Deion Waiters, and who's the other guy? Last name Johnson. Can't remember his first name for some reason. I'm going blank. But they lost to Memphis. Kristaps Porzingis went out with a broken nose, took an elbow to the face from Justin Jackson. Not Justin Jackson. Josh Jackson. I'm losing it. Josh Jackson took an elbow to the face from Josh Jackson. It's been confirmed that it is a broken nose. He will be seeing a doctor today to get that checked out. So stay tuned for that. I'll try to keep you posted on what's going on with Kristaps. Utah also lost to Denver last night. Denver was led by Jokic. He had a 30, 20, and 10 game. The second player to do so before turning 25 years old. The only other player to do that is Kareem. He posted 30, 21, and 10 last night. Great game from Jokic. Jokic, I don't know. How do you really pronounce his name? I've heard different pronunciations of it. I will just say how I want to say it. The Clippers also defeated Miami last night, and that was the second game of the doubleheader on ESPN. They defeated the Heat 128-111. I know they would have loved to have Iggy last night. They also got Jay Crowder in that deal too, and somebody else is a third player. I can't remember, but I'll be posting that on my Project Recap Instagram, so check us out, CampIslandStudios.com as well. But yeah, that's a quick little recap around the league. Let's get into it. First up, I do want to dive into the Houston Rockets first. I want to talk about that a little bit. Of course, to bring everybody up to speed, the other night they just made a 4-team trade with Denver and Minnesota, Houston, and Atlanta, sending Clint Capella to Atlanta, Robert Covington to Houston, other players like Gerald Green, Malik Beasley, Hernan Gomez, draft picks, all were included. It was like a 12-player, 4-team trade, as well as Nene. So to clarify a little bit even more, the Houston Rockets just gave up 2 centers, Nene, Clint Capella. I don't know what the idea behind it is. I mean, I know small ball is becoming a thing now. I don't think you should get rid of the traditional, big man, like just because the league has become more fast paced and it's more like 3-and-D type of play. You're going to need players to guard. I mean, especially being in the Western Conference where it's, I think, every elite big man or most of the elite big men are in the West, minus like players like Joel Embiid. You got players like Anthony Davis out there, Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, even though I don't think he'll be in the playoffs. So that's another topic. I don't know if I have time to talk about the Timberwolves and what they're going through. Probably seeing that might tie into the D'Angelo Russell trades rumors. Excuse me, I'm a little mentally fatigued, and I'm also hungry. But anyways, yeah, I don't really understand what Houston's goal is. I don't know if they realize that PJ Tucker cannot guard players like Rudy Gobert. I don't know if they realize that Tyson Chandler, who will be 40 years old in like the next few years, I don't know if he will be wanting to play back-to-backs like 30-plus minutes a night at that age. Like, I think he's like currently 38 years old. So I don't really get the idea behind it. I was joking with somebody the other day. I mean, that's more triple doubles available for Russ and Harden because there's more boards that are available, so that can help them stat their pats. Pad their stats. I don't understand what the logic is though, unless they're working. I did read that they're in serious talks of getting a center back from one of 2 Eastern Conference teams. There's been no real specifics other than that. I can't even remember who I read that from. I don't think it was Shams or Woj. So I kind of take it with a pinch of salt or a grain of salt, whatever the saying is. Excuse that noise. Cars like to rev up right outside my building. I kind of find that very fucking aggravating. Excuse my language. Unless like the players, like the 2 centers that I've heard the most being talked about in terms of who Houston might be trying to get back is Al Horford from Philly or Andre Drummond from Detroit. I don't see Andre Drummond getting traded. I don't know what Houston could give up that could equal Andre Drummond without depleting their team even more. I know they got Jordan Bell back as well in that 4-team trade. I don't see Jordan Bell playing the 5 like he's a to me a 4. I don't really like it. It doesn't make any sense what Houston is trying to do. But if they're trying to get Al Horford or Andre Drummond, I think Al Horford would be easier to get, of course. I think that would make more sense. Like what they just did a few nights ago, I think all of this would make more sense. But seeing that the trade deadline is 10:30 right now a.m. on Thursday, February 6th, the trade deadline is 3 p.m. today. So they only have like 4 hours to pull something off, and I haven't gotten anything new about Houston. I just got something from Chris Haynes. With just under 5 hours left, there's an increased likelihood Andre Drummond will play the remainder of the season with the Detroit Pistons. So I don't see Andre Drummond getting traded. I never really thought he was. Like I think with his contract, how much he's getting paid, I don't know if anybody wants to take that on for like a 1 year, not even a full year of a rental. So I don't know. I just got another message too from Keith Smith confirming or reiterating the same thing, that Andre Drummond will not be getting traded more than likely. It doesn't really look like Houston will get that center that I've been hearing about back. So I'm interested to see what will happen. Of course, I'll keep everybody posted on the Project Recap Instagram, where I post everything, or I try to post as much as I can about what's going on in the league, breakout games, trade rumors, everything. So definitely come follow, definitely stay tuned, check in, see what happens. I'll try to keep everybody posted as much as I can today, since, like I said, today is the last day for the trade deadline. Now, moving on to Golden State, I do think Golden State should move D'Angelo, even though I don't think they will. I don't think teams are going to give Golden State what they want, and I think it will be mostly a wing player and draft picks, as of course Golden State is trying to load up on draft picks. And they do need a wing player desperately. Like, they need somebody to play that 3 when Klay and Steph comes back, because Draymond, I don't think with the rest of that team beyond those 3 will make any type of noise compared to what they've been doing in previous years. Even pre-KD, I don't think they have a team close to what like 2015 Warriors look like when Klay and Steph come back with a healthy Draymond all together. I don't think they will have anything that's comparable. I don't think they'll be able to compete in the playoffs like they used to do. So I think Andrew Wiggins, like I was talking to my boy Brennan the night, it didn't make sense at first, because I don't think Andrew Wiggins has been playing to the level that he should be playing, if that makes sense. But I do think the system in Minnesota, it just doesn't fit anymore for Wiggins. I think players like Wiggins and Karl-Anthony Towns should look for a way out of Minnesota and not look to try to, like, encourage people to maybe try to sign here or whatever the case might be. Like, I don't think Wiggins should really look into being with Minnesota for much longer. Like, I feel like he should be in a new system. And Golden State playing under Steve Kerr and playing with Stephen Klay and Draymond, I feel like that would be a huge confidence booster for Andrew Wiggins. To me, I don't know if I'm the only one, but his game to me emulated like a version of Kobe, RIP to Kobe. At least when he was coming out of high school and college. I think he played in college. I can't even remember. But yeah, he really just, his game on both ends of the floor just reminded me of like Kobe. And he's had his moments where it's just like, okay, this is what we've been looking for. This is what a lot of us thought you could do, hitting these game winners, having high scoring games, leading the team in scoring, just having big moments. And that, with his inconsistencies, that made me think like, I'm not really a fan of D'Lo for Wiggins, because I feel like D'Lo is, of course, a way better player than Wiggins, but Wiggins in a different system could be a different situation. So interested to see what Golden State might do in the next 4 hours. I've been hearing a lot of they might just hold on to D'Lo. Like of course, they've got all the leverage in the world. They've got the player that people want. To me, one of the best point guards in the league. I know New York has been trying to get him to. I don't think New York deserves anything until they get rid of James Dolan. I know they just got rid of Steve Mills, but I think the real issue is James Dolan, not Steve Mills. Well, partly Steve Mills, but mostly James Dolan. I don't know how easy it'll be to remove an owner, but yeah, I'm really interested to see what the Warriors do, if they do anything, if they move. I definitely think that D'Lo for Wiggins makes a lot of sense for both teams. I don't think when Steph and Clay comes back, you don't want to run a lineup with D'Lo, Curry, Clay as your 1, 2, and 3. I think that's a very small 1, 2, and 3 and very limited defensively. I'm not a big fan of that lineup. Even with Draymond, I like when you run against teams like Milwaukee or teams like LA, being the Lakers, teams with a lot of long players, long guards, a lot of teams that have deep benches when it comes to their bigs. You don't really have much. Like Golden State, you need to. I think Wiggins is perfect. I think Wiggins would be a perfect fit both ends of the floor. He can score the ball. He can play D. He can create his own. Like I think he'd be perfect. I don't see why Golden State should hold on to D'Lo, because you're getting Steph back in March. Clay hopefully coming back, sometime next season. Hopefully he'll start the season off next year in the 2020-2021 season. Hopefully, but we'll see. That's another thing I'll keep everybody posted on at the Project Recap Instagram, CampIslandStudios.com. We'll keep you posted. What else? How much time are we at? Hold on, let me see how much time we are at. So, All-Star snubs. Let's dive into All-Star snubs. That was another topic, my last sports topic for this episode. Like I said, I want to keep these relatively quick and easy and keep them flowing. But the All-Star snubs, I have no issues with the Western Conference, other than this will kind of contradict that, but I do have an issue with player like CP3 making it over Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker could have took that spot. Devin Booker's been on fire all year long. Phoenix has been having one of their best years in recent memory, so I think somebody like Devin Booker should have been rewarded for what they've been doing out in Phoenix. They brought in Ricky Rubio, Kelly Oubre. They signed my guy Aaron Baines. They brought in a good amount of talent to that team, and I think Ricky Rubio is the real game changer, having that pure point guard, having somebody run that floor, have a veteran point guard, somebody's played a lot of meaningful games, both in the NBA and in Olympic play as well. I think Rubio is the perfect fit for that team, and it's showing. And bringing somebody like Kelly Oubre, who I think was slept on in Washington, somebody very athletic, somebody that you can't sleep on. You gotta respect Oubre in every facet of the game. He can shoot the ball. He can create his own shot. He can get to the rim at ease. Even himself, he says so himself. People underestimate his athleticism, and he uses that to his advantage. And you see him consistently catching bodies. So I do have an issue with that. And in the East, I think the East reserves are, oh my God, they're weak. You took Sabonis over Bradley Beal. And I have no issue with Sabonis. I think dude is a good player, but he's not better than Bradley Beal. I don't care what the team records are. I think the All-Star game should reward the best players, not good players on the best teams, or decent players on the best teams. It should be the best players no matter what their team record is. So I do have an issue with that, as well as Zach LaVine getting snubbed. Hell, it's in Chicago, and you can't award Zach LaVine, who to me is the best two guard in the East. Has torched my Celtics every time we've played them this year and years before. But Zach LaVine to me is the best two guard in the Eastern Conference, and you don't award him with that All-Star spot. That shit is crazy. I don't get it. I really don't. I think the East reserves are like that whole, except for my boy JT. Shout out to Jason Tatum, first time All-Star. I think Jaylen Brown should have got in as well, but I'll take Bradley Beal over Brown or Sabonis, and that's no disrespect to my boy JB. I think Bradley Beal is just that damn good, and he's been playing out of this world this year. Even though Washington is trash, their defense is terrible. And I know they mostly I know their rookie, I can't remember his name, out of Japan is injured. He's very good defensively. Like, from what I've seen, dude is good on both ends. And not having him, I think, has definitely hurt them. John Wall's supposed to be on the way back. I've seen some clips of him working out, getting some runs in. He's looking good. That is going to be scary when he comes back. I think a lot of people, including myself, have forgotten about John Wall. And of course, he's been out so long with the injury, with I think it was his Achilles. He's been out so long, people have forgotten about him. But when he comes back and he really gets back in the rhythm, of course, he's got a lot of rust to wear off. When he comes back, it's over. I think Washington, not this year, but next year, they'll start coming back to form. They've also got my boy Isaiah Thomas on the bench. Shout out to IT. That's my guy. Very excited to see what they do too. I think they definitely need to give that Beal and Wall backcourt another chance before they blow it up. I know they talked about that some years ago, about blowing that backcourt up. But I think they need to give it another chance when Wall comes back into form after this injury. Definitely excited to see that. But yeah, All-Star teams, other than a few snubs, I think they're good. I think, like I said, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, and Devin Booker. And I think everybody can agree in the sports world. Everybody can agree that those three should have been on an All-Star team. And it's just unfortunate. It's kind of sending a bad message throughout the league. You're getting awarded for being okay on a very good team or whatever the case might be. So, well, hopefully next year we won't run into an issue like this, because I think that players like them should be rewarded for the play that they've been, or they should be rewarded for what they've been able to contribute to their team, no matter what the record is. So, but that's all we got time for today. I'm already running over about a minute or so. I really want to keep these under 15 minutes. Definitely check us out on CampIslandStudios.com, Project Recap on IG, The Recap Project on Twitter. Also, my personal socials. Thank you, Siege, on all socials. Also, check out the YouTube, too. The YouTube will be, you can find that on CampIslandStudios.com. So come check out some of the content that we've got on the YouTube. So definitely check us out next week. We will have episode number 2 coming next Thursday. Don't know what we will be discussing yet. We'll keep that under wraps, but definitely stay tuned with our socials. Keep up with what we've got going on over here at Project Recap and Camp Island Studios. Until then, it is your boy TYB, and again, I just want to thank y'all for coming by.